Hello, good evening. I'm Ajit Kumar Jha, editor of the Public Global and the CEO of the Power Pixar. And today I want to focus this video on Shashi Tharoor. In fact, I want to begin by saying that the Congress must kick Shashi Tharoor out of the party. Today, Shashi Tharoor has become a serious liability for the Congress party rather than an asset. Now, obviously, Shashi Tharoor has a lot of strengths, which I am not denying. I mean, he's a great public intellectual. He's very articulate, especially in English. He is considered a kind of a scholar with his long experience in the UN. He's a scholar on foreign affairs, on diplomacy, on several other issues. In fact, he writes a book every other year, and he is perpetually on television where he's pointing out his personal opinions in a rather British accent, although because he was born in the UK, but he went to study in Tufts for a PhD in diplomacy. And of course, he has, as I said, a lot of strength. He's a great intellectual. He should have been a great asset for the Congress party, but somehow things didn't work out for him. The problem with Shashi Tharoor is, remember, Shashi Tharoor was brought into politics by none other than Sonia Gandhi when he lost his bid in the UN, for the Secretary General. Sonia Gandhi brought him, gave him the seat of Thiruvananthapuram in 2009, from where, of course, he has won 4 times in a row, and also made him the Minister of State for External Affairs at one time, made him a great public intellectual in India, gave him that lift. But the trouble with Shashi Tharoor is that he's highly ambitious. He's a very controversial figure. Some of you know that he was at one time, there were cases of murder of his wife, which kind of lingered in the courts for a long time. After that, in fact, Prime Minister Modi had one time attacked him for his corruption. He has been a big critique of Prime Minister Modi. In fact, he has written 2 books. He has written several books, but 2 books, particularly The Paradoxical Prime Minister on Prime Minister Modi, which on the cover has the double face of Prime Minister Modi. And he has attacked him thoroughly, pointing out his weaknesses, serious weaknesses. At the same time, he wrote a book, Why Am I a Hindu? And in that, he criticized, the Hindutva version of the Hindutva vision that the BJP has. And he pointed out that he's a Hindu of a different type, not muscular, not aggressive. Both the books sort of made him out to be a hardcore, what one would call a Congress intellectual. In fact, in 2003, he had written a book on Jawaharlal Nehru. And that book, sort of on Jawaharlal Nehru, it was a glowing description of Jawaharlal Nehru. He called the book Nehru, the invention of India. So this is a man who at one time, a great critic of Modi, of BJP, makes Jawaharlal Nehru a hero, a typical left liberal intellectual. Now he has discovered his nationalism. He says, well, when asked why has he been headed, why is the BJP making him the head of the committee of the parliament group, 7 people who are going abroad to tell the world about India's zero tolerance towards terrorism, and what was India's vision, what was India sort of thinking about when it attacked sort of after post Pahalgam when it attacked Pakistan. So what is India's international vision? He's been selected by the BJP to head that committee. In fact, let me tell you a little backgrounder. The backgrounder is that Kiren Rijiju, the parliamentary affairs minister, asked the Congress party, in fact, it was said he asked Mallikarjun Kharge and Rahul Gandhi to give four names, because usually, sort of these parliamentary committees are supposed to represent all political parties so that they give a united vision of India when people go abroad and talks about India's external affairs, its policy on terrorism, its policy on white attack Pakistan. So it asked for four names, and the Congress party gave the names of Anand Sharma, former cabinet minister with enormous amount of experience, Gaurav Gogoi, the deputy leader of the Lok Sabha, and Syed Nasir Hussain, a Rajya Sabha MP, someone who was at one time from the Jawaharlal Nehru University. He has won, from Jammu and Kashmir, and Raja Brar, a Lok Sabha MP from Punjab. So Congress party gave these four names to represent sort of the Congress party. Now, one could question that why wasn't Shashi Tharoor's name given? Because after all, Shashi Tharoor is a former Minister of State for External Affairs, and he is a great scholar, as I said, on external affairs. But I suppose the Congress has its own compulsions, which we will talk about in a bit. But the irony is the BJP did not include any of these four names. None of them. In fact, they raised this, they used the word questionable. They said these are questionable names. Now, calling Anand Sharma, the former cabinet minister of commerce, external affairs, a very learned man from Himachal, as questionable is certainly very questionable by itself. But nevertheless, what the BJP did, they selected a 7-member sort of panel. Shashi Tharoor is going to head the parliamentary committee. Number 2 is Ravi Shankar Prasad, former minister from Bihar, who was at one time, the science and technology minister, law minister, several other portfolios. Baijanta Panda, sort of from Orissa, who was at one time with the Biju Janata Dal, but crossed over to the BJP. Kanimoji Karunanidhi from the DMK. I mean, she is, of course, an important, family member of Karunanidhi's daughter, Stalin's sister, Supriya Sule. NCP, Sharad Pawar, again, she is a very articulate person. She has a lot of knowledge of the subject. She's also Sharad Pawar's daughter, Shrikant Shinde. These are the 7 members that the BJP chose, but made Shashi Tharoor the leader of this 7-member gang. I also forgot Sanjay Jha, Janata Dal United president. Now, all these names I would consider very good. They represent their party. Many of them. And Sanjay Jha is also from the JNU. These are all sort of, I would say, pretty good names. But none of the 4 names that the Congress suggested were taken by the BJP, which I would consider unfair in politics. Now, the interesting thing is, since we are doing the program on Shashi Tharoor, and I've taken this line that Shashi Tharoor needs to be kicked out of the Congress, booted out of the Congress. Why? Because I think the Congress has been prevaricating for very long on the issue of Shashi Tharoor. Shashi Tharoor has been a classic dissenter within the party. If you remember, he had challenged the presidency of the Congress party when Mallikarjun Kharge was brought in there was a contest. Shashi Tharoor at that time argued, oh, I'm a typical liberal. There should be some dissenter. Otherwise, it will not look as if there is a democratic process going on. But he did not like the way the Gandhi family went around asking, campaigning for Mallikarjun Kharge. Kharge is, of course, a much, much more senior leader than Shashi Tharoor. Shashi Tharoor, by the way, is not very young. Next year, he'll be 70 years old. All he has left is about 5 years of politics in him. Mallikarjun Kharge, of course, as you know, is in his early 84, 85 years old. He's much more, about 14 to 15 years older than Shashi Tharoor. He has a lot of experience. He's from the scheduled caste. He has won his seat probably much higher number of times than Shashi Tharoor has done. He was at one time a great trade union leader, and he has enormous experience in politics. In fact, someone who knows Karnataka very well said that his name was thrice recommended for chief ministership of Karnataka. And you can see that he has given the Congress a new orientation, the orientation towards protecting the constitution, number one. Number two, what Rahul Gandhi has been arguing, the significance of the caste survey. Lot of that is Mallikarjun Kharge's advice. Now, Shashi Tharoor obviously lost that election. He did manage to get about 100 votes for himself, but he lost that election. And ever since, he has become a classic dissenter. If you remember, he was part of that, the 25 member Congress dissident group, which at that time was led by, Ghulam Nabi Azad and some of the other leaders. In fact, even the name of Anand Sharma, Manish Tiwari and others were there. Of course, everyone had forgotten about G23, it was called, 23 member. Everyone had forgotten about G23 now. But Shashi Tharoor is the only one who kept it alive. And he goes on plotting against the Congress. He just says, I'm very honored to become the leader of this parliamentary delegation. And then he says, the government has invited me. I'm a nationalist. So therefore, I'm going to listen to the government, not the party. He forgets this was the party that made him the Congress MP. This was the party that each time gave him the seat which he has won, luckily. This was the party that made him much before as the Minister of State of External Affairs. Now, he feels that, what is he angling for? He is angling for becoming the Chief Minister of Kerala, because next year we have Kerala Assembly election. And this has been a big issue with Shashi Tharoor. Either he wants to be the External Affairs Minister of the party, which he was Minister of State. In fact, he's angling. He's probably wanting the position of, I would argue, Jai Shankar in the BJP. That's why he's going on. He feels that maybe he's much more suave and he's more articulate than Jai Shankar. Jai Shankar himself is quite articulate, but obviously Shashi Tharoor likes that position. He likes to be on television all the time. He has what Hindi journalists call chapas robe. He wants to be all the time on television. He wants to keep speaking because he thinks there is no other better speaker in this country or in the world other than him. He's too fond of himself. He loves himself a bit too much. And, he just likes to listen to his own voice. And of course, as I said, he has his strengths. But I think it's time for the Congress to stop the prevarication. Whether, if they wanted Shashi Tharoor, they should have either made him, at one time the Congress president candidate, or later on when he met Rahul Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge for, when they were thinking of revamping the Congress party in Kerala for the election. They should have made him, the campaign committee leader or even the CM face. But obviously the Congress has other reasons. There are smarter leaders inside Congress, maybe a younger leader who and now they are actually wanting, it seems, they have got Sunny Joseph as the Congress president in Kerala, because it seems that the Christian vote is slipping away towards the BJP. So as a result, they have brought Sunny Joseph as the president of the party. There are other leaders, other claimants for the position of chief minister who may be even much more loyal and at the same time much more credible than Shashi Tharoor. So therefore, once they didn't make him, all the time he has been impatient trying to get out of the party, but he won't resign because after all, next Lok Sabha election is 2029. Now, by that time, Shashi Tharoor feels that it will be too late for him in politics. The next 4 or 5 years are crucial. So either become chief minister or jump the gun, move to the BJP. He'll continue to remain the MP. He hopes that the BJP might make him the external affairs minister. Now, the BJP is very clever. They'll use him right now. They are using him right now. In fact, Mr. Modi has played the politics of what we call, two sort of, with one stone, he's playing sort of two strikes. One, by making Shashi Tharoor, who is an intelligent, articulate, a sort of resource on foreign affairs, it seems, it looks as if they are playing right politics, but at the same time, they are trying to drive a wedge between Rahul Gandhi and Shashi Tharoor, between Congress party and Shashi Tharoor, between Mallikarjun Kharge and Shashi Tharoor, between Jairam Ramesh and Shashi Tharoor. Now the question is, why is the Congress prevaricating? Why does it keep pushing the decision away? Well, they are going to lose the seat of Thiruvananthapuram, which obviously Shashi Tharoor is a member of parliament. Okay, in politics, there are always some risks. But at this moment, I feel that Shashi Tharoor has become a serious liability for the Congress. He's a public embarrassment. All over, you look at the media, he's like, all the time talking, he's discovered his new nationalism. In this case, Hindutva nationalism, against which he wrote a whole damn book in the past. He has suddenly become a great admirer of Prime Minister Modi. He forgets he wrote that book, A Paradoxical Prime Minister. So he's a rank opportunist, and politics is filled with rank opportunists, people who are very intelligent, but all that they care is for themselves, not the political party. And I certainly don't think he cares a lot about the nation. So once he goes to the BJP, he will disappear from the, his public intellectual role, just like all the other opportunists who crossed over because the BJP is in power. And should I name some of them? Jyotiraditya Scindia, and I can go on and on. Several leaders who crossed over, Ghulam Nabi Azad and others, Amarinder Singh. And where do we see them today? They have all disappeared. They are nowhere the great faces that they once used to be. Similar fate hangs in the future for Shashi Tharoor, but the Congress must take a decision and kick out Shashi Tharoor, boot him out of the party. They should maybe give him the usual notice and tell him, first we suspend your membership and then we finally get him out of the party. I conclude here. I'll make many more videos on this issue in the future because these are the important issues that concerns our viewers. Do subscribe to our channels, The Power Pixar and The Public Global. Thank you very much.